Hello everybody, this is Furniture Bobbin here, and today it's another NASCAR race review, and today we're going to be talking about the Bristol race thingamajiggy, the Food City 500 I believe it's called, and it was a great race. Yep, haven't seen that too much this season. I mean, the Daytona 500 was fantastic, the Martinsville, or the SCP 500 was also pretty good, and now we come to Bristol, which is possibly the second best race of the season. It beats out Martinsville by a bit, I guess. Well, not by, well, by a bit, I guess. I don't know. But this race in Bristol was definitely one to watch. You had passing, you had battles for the lead, you had drivers running unusually well. Like, what's amazing is that it was the first race of the season where Jimmy Johnson wasn't terrible, for the most part. Like, he was able to run in the top 10. I think he was even in the top 5 at one point. So Jimmy Johnson, it's now not rubbish. I mean, he's not great, but he's not rubbish. So I hope that Jimmy Johnson can eventually get a win this season. Alex Bowman as well. I think he got a top 5, and Bowman, he was running up there as well. Bowman on his way to getting his first win at some point in the future, definitely. But I think the best part is Bubba Wallace was in the lead for 5 laps. Yep, Bubba Wallace. One of the top favorite drivers in all of NASCAR, and I do like Bubba. He's a good guy, and, it's really quite cool to see Bubba, lead in the Cup Series, and, and Bubba, he's definitely on his way to being a superstar here in the world of NASCAR. And Bubba, he's definitely gonna win in the number 43. The 43 is probably gonna get its 203rd victory with Bubba Wallace. I think it got, yeah, because after Richard Petty retired, the 43 got its 201st win with John Andretti, and that's 202nd win with Eric Almirola, and then I think, I'm not actually sure how many wins that John Andretti got when he drove the 43, but oh well. Either way, it will be nice to see Bubba Wallace, possibly going to win the race. Yeah, so far I've talked about drivers possibly winning the race in the future. Let's talk about the race itself now. So, the race. Yeah, I'm getting too much into other drivers. Let's now talk about the race itself, because that's what you all came for. So, the race. Quite a few people were quite skeptical about the race, or the racetrack, because apparently they modified Bristol, and so now it has, like, PJ1, things. I'm not actually sure, but it's where they have this thing where they put all the rubber on the bottom lane of the track, because apparently what they were trying to do is they were trying to restore the old Bristol, and where you would have to get down on the inside lane and try to push people up the track. And I was a bit skeptical about this because I didn't mind Bristol as it previously was. I was alright with Bristol on how, it was a multi-groove track, and honestly I think that multi-groove tracks are the best. Like, single groove tracks like most of the Model and a halves, except for a couple. Those are the ones where the races are usually not as good. I mean, they can be good if the right package is used, the right aero package. But, single groove tracks really aren't that good for NASCAR. Multi-groove tracks are really, really what creates good racing. And I was a bit skeptical of how they were just making it how the bottom lane was more effective than the top lane in the corners. But later on, as the race progressed, the higher groove, or the higher lane, was able to be used and was able to make passes on. Like, I think a few guys got passes on another when they went on the outside lane. So Bristol isn't entirely different to what it was before, but it does, however, it does make things more interesting. So, yeah, so, and after how good this race was, I don't mind Bristol, how it is now, yeah. So, in fact, I think that they made Bristol slightly better than it was, and that's a good thing. And and Bristol is now one of three good races this season. Um, yeah, yep, Daytona, Martinsville, and now Bristol. So that's quite nice. And best of all, Kyle Busch gets a second win in a row. He's quite nice. You know, there seems to be quite a few people out there, you know, they might say something like, "Oh, well, this race was good, except the fact that Kyle Busch won. Yeah, this race could have been better if Kyle Larson would have won the race." I don't know. Like, if I don't know why people have to have that opinion. Like even if Kevin Harvick would have won this race, I probably wouldn't have minded it too much because the race itself was overall good. But that's just me. But it is nice to see Kyle Busch win this race, and I believe this is Kyle Busch's first race of the season in that Skittles car, which is nice because you know, because the Skittles car looks nice. It's possibly one of his best looking cars ever. I really like that Skittles red car, and I think I should come out on track more often. Even though we also have Snickers and M&M's caramel and Interstate batteries and other doodads. So that's nice. Um, yeah, I was really hoping for Kyle Larson to win this race, but oh well, I'll take Kyle Busch. But you know, the main reason why I wanted Larson to win this race was because he was driving a Chevy, and I really want a Chevy driver to win a race this season because the Chevys really haven't done well up until now. They haven't done that great. I mean, in this race, the Chevys were actually good. You know, Jimmy Johnson wasn't terrible. Alex Bowman was up there, and Bubba Wallace was up there as well, and same good for Kyle Larson. So I think the Chevy teams are starting out to figure out the new Camaro, but only time will tell until the Camaro gets its first win. I was really hoping that Larson would have won it, but oh well. And also, it was kind of weird to see Kyle Larson driving the McDonald's car. You know, I'm so used to seeing, and I'm sure you are too, so used to seeing Jamie McMurray drive that McDonald's car. But I guess McDonald's has now decided to sponsor Kyle Larson. But I can kind of see why, because Kyle Larson, he is a better driver than Jamie McMurray. Like, you know, Jamie McMurray hasn't won a race since 2013, and yet Kyle Larson is able to rack up 4 wins in the span of 2 years, and eventually will win a race this year, and maybe 2 races, maybe even 3. Yeah, so Kyle Larson is a better driver, much better driver than McMurray. Although it seems that McMurray is starting to get lucky top 10, so who knows if McMurray will be able to win another race in his career. I don't know, but maybe I'm kind of hoping that they eventually, eventually remove McMurray's contract or something, and maybe replace him with another new guy. So I can kind of see why McDonald's wants to sponsor or is sponsoring Kyle Larson now, because Kyle Larson he gets all the attention, so that means more sponsorship for McDonald's. Even though McDonald's they already have enough, they're already famous as is. But oh well, whatever. So what else? So overall, this race was great. I did listen to the Xfinity Series race. Some say that the Xfinity Series race was great. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the Xfinity Series race because I was thinking of things, and I don't know. For some reason, my mind was like, you know, the Xfinity race is, man, I don't know. But now I kind of wish I would have watched the Xfinity Series race because, it was before 5 o'clock. And I couldn't do a live stream on Saturday because of, why. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do any more live streams for the time being, but I'll see what I can do. So, yeah. Up next is Richmond. First night race of the season for Xfinity and Cup. Unless you count Atlanta, but yeah. So, I will be watching. And actually, I think the Xfinity race is on Friday night. So I might actually watch that. And some say that the Cup race might be terrible at Richmond, because some say that Richmond is rubbish at nighttime. We'll have to see what happens, because I actually can't remember what my thoughts were on both of the Richmond races last year. Although if you do want my opinions on the Richmond races from last year, you can watch the races review that I did on them. You can go into the playlist and see my thoughts on those two races. And yes, that was the obligatory burp of the day. So yeah, that's all for this race review. Um, although I will also say that it was quite annoying whenever the race was brought under caution because of the rain. They honestly really should have just postponed the race as a whole up until today, Monday, instead of just try to do it on Sunday. I think it would have been a better decision just to postpone until Monday like they did last year. But oh well, or maybe they should put rain tires on Bristol or something. Um, I heard a few people suggesting that they should put like a dome or something over Bristol. Although that probably won't happen because these cars they run on gas and they put fumes all over the place, so it would cause carbon dioxide and people wouldn't fare well with that. So them possibly putting a dome or something over Bristol or something to keep out the rain, it's probably not going to happen until the cars become electric, I guess. So if eventually NASCAR goes all electric, then yes, they probably will put a dome over Bristol, but until that happens, it's never gonna happen. So I'm sorry. So yeah, so for those of you who want it, I'm sorry to spoil your dreams, but it's probably never gonna happen until NASCAR goes all electric in 2030 or 2040. If NASCAR is even still around by then. Yeah, if NASCAR can survive the sausagery that is Brian France, and it eventually becomes electric, then we'll see. Anyways, guys, that's all for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.